Hey, ladies and gents, I want to just hop on real quick, say a few words here, which I will expound upon when we get into September 11th, a little bit of a Memorial Day of sorts that will have to be spoken on from the subject of your boy because I'm from New York, and that was one of the things that I was mentioning um, in this episode that I didn't finish all the way, so I just wanted to complete the thought. Again, my apologies on that, but at least it will help the listener as they listen. Number one, um, when everything happened September 11th, which I don't think I don't actually, maybe mention here and there, but I don't remember actually getting into a whole thing on September 11th. There's something that we need to put to bed. A lot of stuff came to light then that is similar to a lot of just very hateful rhetoric, if you will. When again, this is the idea about this is to walk in love. And again, guys, when just watching the Rings of Power, I'm just going over these different little Easter eggs and all that kind of stuff. You got to realize how easy it is for deception to creep its way in the mind. And I don't think we give that enough credit because I think a lot of people are living under deception, which is a real thing, right? And again, I just want to keep this brief because y'all got a episode to get in, but just to speak on this real quick. The idea when everything happened September 11th, guys and gals, September 11, 2001, which is funny. It was just a couple days after I got back from doing the Bible school thing. Your boy wanted to be a preacher back in the day. So, and again, that's something we have talked about in earlier episodes, but we just bring it up for those who are just tuning in now, right? Again, I reference to listen to the whole of this episode. I know some episodes, whole of this podcast, excuse me, some episodes are longer than others. But conversations and information has to be had, y'all. I think if we could sit under a learning tree of sorts from AEW fans, right? For us AEW wrestling fans out there, right? If we could sit under the learning tree of sorts, there's much knowledge to gain from like all peoples too, which is a shame because when you look into older world views, tying this in now to September 11th, and just the part that I had missed to speak about. There's much to learn from our European brothers and sisters, all people on the planet, right? I mention European because those are the ones we malalign the most, right? Not all of them. We got to understand that. I understand, and to our so-called European, so-called white, aka European brothers and sisters, please understand. And this is not a plea to anything, okay? Not from the standpoint of, oh, master, please be merciful with us. Now, that's not what I'm doing here. There is a reality, guys, in this light of deception that we always got to keep fighting the wrong people, right? Again, your Bible references that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Still, those who are corrupted with a certain mindset, y'all, as we got the Snoopy in the background here, we'll let that play a little bit. Sorry about that. We're coming to evening time right now. Well, close to it. Ba-doom. We just got to understand how easy it is for deception to creep into the mind in the most innocent, what seemingly is the most innocent of ways, which is why you're told in scripture to train your senses to know good and evil. And the more you keep doing that, sometimes it come across as people, and you can do this, but this isn't where you go out of balance with it. This is where people will come off not ready for what's happening in your life, and you're like, man, what happened with you? Are you okay? What's wrong? All that kind of stuff. Like, no. We just seen the light of a thing and we're not messing around anymore. There's a difference, It's not to come off crass and everything like that, which again, a person can always work toward being more balanced always, right? We all can. This idea that everything that happened September 11, 2001, just to finish this, guys, we got to stop putting this thing at the feet. Taliban, of course, in modern days, it's been ISIS recently. And then, of course, this whole stuff that happened over in the Gaza Strip that's got the recent fight here with our Palestinian and Israeli brothers and sisters. Guys, we got to understand that, one, a lot of this stuff is pouring over from a family war. Number two, everybody does not have death and destruction on the mind. We're going to get into the definition of war here next episode, because I do mention it. I actually mentioned a couple of words that were a little bit of goodies if y'all are paying attention, and we will be talking about them. So just to keep yourself up, keep yourself ready and raring to go when we drop those episodes, or that episode. But we placed the blame at the wrong place, y'all. The reason that folks were able to come over into the nation, no different than what's going on in the middle in Colorado and Chicago with these people trying to take over apartment houses or whatever they're doing, right? Understand, guys, that one group of people, right, then going through their own pains, gets corrupted by their own stuff. This is stuff you learn in the Bible, right? This is biblical stuff. And then you got to change up. You got to change. Then you got to be involved with those people. So we got to be careful. Again, the people who regulate that is our government. Demand of your government, y'all. Right? Again, like I mentioned something about the whole Michigan occupation to leave the house during COVID. Again, maybe we need to be not that type of militant, but we need to be that serious, y'all. See, again, we mentioned the Bangdung conference, I believe is how it was said, where all the dark skin tone, tan skin tone folks, all copper tone folks, right? We all came together, figure out a way of how to live life down here in all this oppression, all right? Okay, because this is the thing. You go everywhere, you're getting made fun of solely because of your skin tone. Guys and gals, how do you think that's going to go down? Just got to be honest, right? How do you think that's going to go down? Someone got to look out for protections for themselves, and then vice versa with all the fighting that we keep doing back, which a lot of that fighting isn't necessary because, again, the idea is to come out from among them, be separate, right? Guys, if they're hurting you, they don't want you around. James Baldwin had already told us to play on this, right? You know, philosopher, activist, whatever terms we want to put on people. He already told us what it is. Okay, this isn't in hate. This isn't in anything other than finding the best way to live in peace, y'all. That's it. That's it. So, yeah, I just wanted to make that distinction. Don't go sowing. This isn't about sowing hate. It's about finding the best way to live in peace. And if separate from each other for a time, right, for age, to rob a phrase from Lord of the Rings, will bring about that peace, then so be it. Let that time come to wash away a lot of this pain and corruption. Then we tackle the next set of situations, whether they repeat themselves or whatever, right? But we're talking about how you're going to answer this, because we can't let this go on like this, thinking that the president's going to save a thing, whether female or male. It's not going to happen. As you hear my girl Fiona in the background yawning. But yeah, just some things to light, okay? I've taken enough of your time. Sorry. We will talk to you soon. Hey, what's going on out there, family? What's going on out there, family? A good morning, almost afternoon to y'all out there. How we doing? I hope that y'all are having a powerful and impactful Thursday today, right? I hope that this week, that Labor Day, that the end of August, right, the beginning of September, right, I hope that it's been doing good for y'all, right? I hope that you've been taking names, right? Taking names and numbers and kicking in some teeth and, you know, breaking down some barriers in your life, man, because this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're at. Family, this is where we're at. There's no more brothers and sisters. This is where we're at. There is no more time for a lot of things. Welcome us who are the 600 plus strong, right? Who view, listen to, and absorb the knowledge therein that comes from the idea of a different view. Y'all welcome in. Today's topic is going to be a little bit from your boy KJ's heart today. Right. Well, normally we've been on different topics and such, whether it's been the start of September, talking about all different things going on in the world, whether it's who believes Kamala Harris is black or not. Kamala Harris, whether they believe Kamala Harris is black or not, or so whether it's been of a governmental thing, whether it's been all different topics that we've been on, right? That we've spoken on, different words, breaking down words and phrases. Y'all just a little bit on the heart, man. Guys, don't let them bully you, right? When you start hearing these words, again, a lot of this in an escapism and a dodging kind of mentality, folks don't want to talk about the bully, right? Again, keep in the thought, keep in the front of the thought of your mind that we don't want to talk about Bruno, right? Understand that, right? Shout out that movie Encanto, man. Shout out to our Latin brothers and sisters as we etch ever closer. And again, I think I know that like the government's made it from like September 15th to October or whatever, right? But when we're talking about the cultures, man, who have been so malaligned on this planet, man, right? I know they use the dodgeball excuses like, hey, y'all was selling each other as slaves and you was using human sacrifices and stuff. And meanwhile, that's normally, again, dodgeball effect because you dodging that plastic, vinyl, whatever ball, right, coming at your face or your body, whatever, right? We've all seen dodgeball videos. Some pretty cool ones with what certain professionals do with do during playing the game and all that kind of thing. But just boiled down plainly, y'all, don't let them bully you. Again, they don't want to talk about what they do in their own world, telling you what's wrong with yours. Unfortunately, that's a trick of massa, and that's been a thing for forever, right? It's a horrible thing that's been introduced into society where you do not take responsibility and you push it off on somebody else. Something wrong in your family, you don't talk about what's going on, how you had a part to play in it. You just want to talk about what's wrong with the kids, right? Or you talk a little bit about yourself. But guys, we get to see again, right? Judgment starting in the house of God. Let's understand that when you again, you know your boy here is Christian, so we're gonna put that which is the spin that needs to be said on the thing, and not the thing that you hear in church, so they can keep passing around that offering plate. Guys, we guys and gals, we gotta let that go. We're hurting our babies, we're hurting ourselves with that mess. Ain't working. It ain't. All it has produced is right up until now is more people, as you've heard me say on this podcast. We in the therapist chair. We in the doctor's office because we're overweight, and we are supporting a system meant to kill us. Again, if we want to do things that after life and godliness, we got to get it. We got to switch it a little bit. And one of these places in taking responsibility, if stuff is wrong in our families, it starts with us. If we start doing this whole thing where they're wrong over there, that's all well and good. But what are you doing, right? What are we doing, y'all? The other side is personal. The other side's responsibility. If you want to build bridges and rebuild bridges, right? You got every state everywhere. Somebody's using your tax dollar in some very interesting ways. We'll say it that way, right? That we don't get involved because we don't go to our city and town council meetings. We don't do this stuff, right? We think it's just the president and maybe a little bit of the midterms. That's it. That's all we do. We don't get involved. So they take your dollar out your paycheck and they use it to fund themselves, basically. Right? Because again, you got to do the thing. You don't have town representative or nothing behind your name, ladies and gentlemen, but as long as they're taking your tax dollar, you got a right to say something, you see? That's how the game works. Just saying, right? Again, as long as they was using the slave, guess what, y'all? The slave had a right to say something, and it ain't changed. It's the same thing today. So, Exodus 5, we will read it. Because again, I'm just talking off the cuff here. We will read it and do all that kind of thing down the road here. But Exodus 5 is a very telling chapter. It is the beginning of, literally as the book is called, the Exodus. A powerful chapter. Dealing and getting away from the plantation house, y'all. Let my people go. And Pharaoh's inability. This was no devil possession. Let's be honest, y'all. Again, God cannot be a just judge if something else is involved getting in the way of you making decisions. This is on people choosing to continue to have the gun as their thing. And again, you are told that if you live by the sword, transpose out that word sword for whatever it is, right? Something that is not of a true and just nature. If that's what you live by, you're going to die by it. That's not me. That's scripture. Stuff that people don't look at because they're okay with the freedom without the responsibility of the freedom. Which is why you turn around that thought process and you look at sex, and it's the same thing. We have freedom to do these things. Let's see, you can do all the different ones. So like the ones that they talk about the essentials of life, like breathing, drinking, eating, sex is another one, all those kinds of things, right? Some of the essentials of life when you study these things. Again, there's responsibilities to each one of those, y'all. Right? We got a responsibility to the planet. If we're going to be breathing this air, we want to make sure we're not destroying the ozone layer. But normally, right about the time you talk that mess, right, somebody is sitting there telling you about how much of a tree hugger you are. Right? We just say what it is. People's minds are corrupted and poisoned, y'all. But we got the antidote. Do you know what it is? It is walking in love, y'all. Nobody said you're a doormat. We said walking in love. Righteousness, uprightness is part of love, y'all. See, love does no ill to their neighbor. And when you walk uprightly, guess what you do, y'all? You don't do no ill to your neighbor. You minding your business, right? To say it in my best words, right? I don't care about what you're doing because I'm doing me, right? I'll help you do you. If all of everything is, birds of a feather flock together, as long as the thing is lining up, yeah, we'll help you do you. Of course, we don't leave people bleeding and dying in the street, right? This is what the Bible is telling us it's not cool to do. So we got to keep this in mind when we're dealing with people, man. We don't leave people hurting and dying in the street. Which shout out to these people. See, again, your government got a cold game, and it's not Democratic or Republican, y'all. This thing is no different than what started on these lands back in the 1700s. I hope somebody gets it on the inside of them, man. You got to hold your government accountable. Them letting the migrants over here, and they know they don't like this. They don't like us over here. And much of it is because of your government that does not like the rest of the planet. They then think that all of us don't like other people. You better start walking in love with your brother, sister on this planet, man. I'm saying. They already got a certain idea. Listen, when we talk about that which happened in the dear state that I'm from, and all of those innocent lives lost, man, because again, we do not hold our government accountable. This had nothing to do with who we call sand monkeys and all this mess. That is highly, highly disrespectful at its utmost. And you got to be careful having people who show that level of disrespect on the world stage. That's not what it is. Just like you need to be careful on those. Listen, it's another excuse that comes out. Oh, well, in order to rule this thing, you ain't supposed to see. Ain't nothing changed from kingdoms back in the day, y'all. When you show disrespect to people, that's an act of war. That ain't changed, y'all. Let somebody be disrespectful to you and find out what it is. Yeah, there's supposed to be battles you walk away from. This is why we talk about that Chris Rock thing. There's a problem there. You joke. Again, all things are permissible, but all things aren't expedient to do, yo. Just like you can go to McDonald's, and it's a damn shame they got these many fast food restaurants, right? You can go to these fast food restaurants, eat that food all day long, night and day, as your diet. Guess what? You will probably have problems physically down the road. Why? Because its source is corrupted. It is no different than you making jokes. Yeah, it's all good for humor. But we just don't do it just to be doing it at the expense of other people. And that don't mean that they are, right? See, again, we're talking the heart of the matter. That don't mean that they are not pseudo-offended either. But there's a responsibility with jovialness, y'all. With humor, right? We miss it because we're following after masses' doctrine. We sip the syrup, y'all. And it's okay because there is an antidote to get that mess out of you. And it is walking in love and uprightness, y'all. Right? Normally in the church house, they'll say something like, righteousness deals with the idea of like I never sinned. I like to take it a step further. While that has some very serious truth to it, there is this idea of walking uprightly. When you look at the word righteousness, dealing in how we deal with people, fairness. We've gone over that as far as how people look at life, and they believe life is unfair. Life is not operating in bias, y'all. People are. The word fair deals with operating without bias. Do you know who operates without bias? Not life, not the natural occurrences of things that happen on one side of the planet to the other. No, that stuff is balanced. As hard as it is for us to accept, that stuff is balanced. What is not is when you have redlining come up. What is not is when you have GI bills that come up for our so-called white brothers and sisters in the military and not the black ones, right? Like, we're not going to act like we don't know about the history of these things, right? What is not fair is for us to not tell our kids how screwed up the parents and grandparents and great-grandparents made these lands that we got to let our kids live in today. That they got to go to school now with bulletproof backpacks on. Come on, somebody. Kevlar backpacks on. Look at the stuff that's out there. We've allowed the government now to bring in so many migrants again to drown out other people. I know what folks are going to say. But it isn't an attempt to drown out other people. They're never going to tell you that, man. But look at the pattern in history. When was the last time a bunch of people were brought over here at the at the expense of someone else, right? That they got movies like The Killers of the Flower Moon coming out. Because again, be sure that your sins will find you out, y'all. It's time that we start walking in love, in peace. These things are not, what's some of the words? They're weak. These things are not weak. These things are not simp. These things are not sus, right? All the words these kids use today, y'all look them up. We all got Urban Dictionary. You can educate yourself. School ain't stopped, y'all. This, you know what? A lot of this mess sometimes. This thought came to my mind. I've thought about it for a while. This just came back to my mind, so now I get to share it with the family. It's this idea of your kids, right? Or the shout out to the parents one time out there, right? Going through the struggle, right? Trying to raise these babies. That's a real thing, by the way. So for the kids on the other side, because we talk a lot about the parents, which we should. But to the kids, as far as the honor part, yes, your parents, when they really about it, yeah, they really trying with you. They really trying. They ain't perfect. Nobody perfect, right? Especially this will help you. This will help with your older kids and teenagers and stuff. Because again, we don't ever let our guard down. They don't see you, man. They see this weird thing that somebody else taught you to be in front of them. So the bosses do it at work too. It doesn't correlate. Yes, you can have respect and all that kind of thing. You ain't got to come off as some like, I'll be back, Terminator type of thing. That's not. Hasta la vista, obey me. Yeah, that's not. Lord, have we missed it, man. So it's like this with the kid, right? Mommy. And normally when they come up, they're crying, right? Mommy, Daddy said I could. For whatever reason, right? Lying on Daddy. Got the good reason. We're talking about in the right and fair, again, upright, right? That's why it's important to deal uprightly with things. Right? Not bearing false witness on people, right? So doing all this kind of thing, and then mama catch the play and be like, no, let's go talk to daddy about it. And then you settle it, right? And vice versa. Let's not act like this thing is just the mother. This is also the father too, right? Again, like we talked about Father's Day last year, Vader, right? Vader daddy too, man, right? Oh, shout out to our European brothers and sisters one time, man. See, again, this idea, this division, like you can't trust these folks because they're all the devil. No. Especially to our Christian brothers and sisters. If that's the case, man, that ain't what this is. What this is people operating in very adversarial mindsets. That's what you got going on. If you really gonna believe, what do you believe, y'all, right? No, and this is why you got judgment. How could God be a just judge? And you're going to judge a group of people that could just never, ever do it right. This is just always their nature. This is always the way it's going to go down with them. No, the truth is you better keep yourself away from anybody that acts that way. No matter European, from the nation of India, native, from the islands, from the Americas, Greenland, Iceland, I don't care where, Africa, it don't matter where, right? Asia, it don't matter where, nor what you believe in. Right and wrong is right and wrong regardless, y'all. And we can do things down here to live in peace, and the fact we haven't is why you got this mess going on where they have brought in migrants now, and they're starting to attack. These are things you can look up online. They're starting to push out people in these different sanctuary cities, as they call them. Do not assume, y'all, just because the government picked sanctuary cities where this is happening, that it will not pour over to where you're at. This is not about doom and gloom. This is not about the glorification of violence. This is about telling you the playbook, right? We all watch football, especially back in the 90s with John Madden, rest in peace, right? With the turkey legs and all this other stuff and the X's and O's and, drawing the arrows on the TV screen and everything. We done had a ton of Thanksgiving and turkey dinners around that type of environment, right, y'all? A lot of memories wrapped around that, right? Guys and gals, this is what this is. This is the play. This is the play. Get other groups of people to drown out other ones. Even if you have to create a war around them to kill them, to then still create an illusion or diversion from actually what's happening, which is takeover, y'all. Listen. We can't be studying all these World War II documentaries and World War I's and guys, we study too much war to not know what the play is, man. That's just what it is. It affects your pocketbook and your check. No, to the people out in Chicago, and I want to say Colorado. Think of Aurora, Colorado. You know, peace and protection to y'all, man. That's for real, right? But again, it don't matter. This ain't no left-right thing. Stop pointing fingers and start holding all of your government accountable. So it doesn't matter which one you fancy, whatever year you want to pick. You know that one of them, regardless of which values they hold, going to do right for everybody. That's the point, y'all. Which is why the party thing is a little pseudo, because again, you're still going to be doing right for everybody, whether you are left or right. Right? So, I mean, that's just, honestly, y'all, that's just some of the stuff on your boy's heart today, man. Well, look out for each other and protect each other, man. That can never be stated enough. Right? And we'll get into different things like bearing false witness and the biblical account in Exodus of Pharaoh just not letting the people, I'll do it. Yeah, we'll pay you more money, y'all. Yeah, we'll give you health benefits. And listen, let's not act like one side is saying this, the other one isn't. All of them are saying it. This is how they get you to go to the ballot. They taking your money. Money is a vote. Vote is money, y'all. And neither side cares. This is why I let them auto pick. And honestly, they're not giving you any policy. For real. They're not giving you. They'll give you a little bit here and there. That's the name of the game. Give them a little bit, and we take the rest of it. That's not good enough anymore. It wasn't good enough then, and it damn sure ain't good enough now. So then let them, again, it is written in their government, let auto pick. You pick who you want, right? That's number one. Because on the back end, no matter which one they pick, you still hold them accountable as a citizen, right? Because the government is for you. Lord, how deception's got us not paying attention. And still, we have been given the responsibility to pay attention to what is going on in this life. Folks can't even own homes and apartments no more without somebody else coming in now and pushing you out. Again, these are all articles you can look online. I'm not making it up. Chicago, Aurora, Colorado. And our dear Latin, Venezuelan brothers and sisters who are gangs who are involved in this thing. Before y'all start going off on our Latin brothers and sisters, you stop that mess and don't worry about that diversion. Get your government, right, to add in some emergency protections for people, because this ain't it, y'all. You need to see again how you were strapped to the state capitol to get out the house during COVID. This is how in those towns and everywhere else, see the same way everybody was, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, the same way they was all about it for George Floyd after George Floyd was executed in the street, is the same way this needs to be about this, y'all. We all need to be there in this planet big enough for us to live in peace. Nobody need to be kicking anybody out of nowhere. So it's time to deal with it. The police are going to have to pick up some extra shifts. Again, the neighborhood watches, y'all might have to be picking up. This about peace, y'all. This is about establishing peace now. Right. So that's what your boy got for you today. I love y'all. God bless y'all. Thank you for walking this road with me. That's for real. Right? Just because there's some rocks and pebbles and gravel in the road don't mean we can't do this thing for real. And we can. We can and we have to. All the people groups, man. I'm watching this Lord of the Rings thing. And I understand they don't follow a lot of all of the books for rights reasons and all that kind of thing. But the main issue is how deception creeps in, man. How you got to be careful of that thing. You got to be sharp on the tack. You got to always be learning. Go back to the books, man. Go back. Look at this stuff online. Don't discredit this. Don't sit in the seat of the scornful, y'all. Don't discredit this stuff. This is real life going on, right? Always has been and always will be. And until we talk again, until next time, y'all, look to find the beauty in a different view.